Coach, are you going to go back to 70 for this game with Matias?
We are considering that, and in all likelihood, that's something we're leaning towards. So we will not have Tuck again tonight. We kept him home. There was some progress, but obviously we liked the result last night, and there's too many games coming up. We think what he has will resolve in a matter of days, and so that's a decision there. And as you mentioned, with Samuelson coming back, we made a roster change based on that today. That was Matty Savoy, who we have sent back to junior, and it was we were lucky to have the opportunity to have Savoy come in. We had hoped a couple weeks ago. We certainly weren't hoping for injuries a couple weeks ago, but that was really the only way we were going to get him on a roster and get him in a game. And fortunately, we were able to do that, give him that experience. Thought he had a real good 6 games in Rochester. Our hope and intent was to have him at least play in Rochester this season, but the way the rules are, we couldn't quite get that done. So it was a bonus to have him play those 6 games, play last night, and a couple weeks ago we were worried we might not have that opportunity. So the roster moved today. They put Samuelson in.
Rusek sort of changed maybe his play, influenced your decision on what to do with Matt?
Rusek, not so much. It was, like I said, it was a week and a half ago. We were sitting and saying, boy, we hope there's a way to get Savoy in, and we knew really the only way was if we had guys go on a 7-day IR, and that was probably the only silver lining to an injury, was you actually had an opportunity to put Matt Savoy in and give him that experience. He didn't have a training camp experience. He probably would have played 4, 5, or 6 preseason games. He couldn't play in any because he was injured. So we're just happy that he was able to stick around as long as he did to get him in last night. But Rusek has played well from the outset, and we used him in key minutes last night, and we needed him.
As far as I'm sure you know Roy Summer well. Just what's your level of comfort sending Matt to Roy Summer?
Lots of comfort. Roy's a very good man. He's been in hockey a long time and developed lots of prospects. And so for me on the personal side, that's a good guy to be sending your player to.
For where Matt is in his development right now, did you feel as an organization this is just best for him right now?
He's so young. He doesn't have any real experience yet, and he had to deal with that injury. Which is really tough when a guy at that age is injured in training camp. And our prospect pool. There's, we have Rosine, Kulik, and on in Rochester right now. So he's progressing, and we wanted to do what we could to help that progression. And I believe the longer we were able to keep him around here, the more insight he could get, the more hindsight he could get as well. And he took a lot of hindsight from last camp last year. He came back better, and I'm certain this will help him every day he was here, knowing his personality.
What's the key for him to going back to junior? Because he showed he can play in the AHL, and to try to keep him focused to be back at that level.
Yeah, that is something that is such an intangible, Joe, that you're obviously concerned about that. And in all honesty, you see him play in Rochester, and how beneficial that could be for certain reasons, but the way the rules are, the player has to go back to his junior team if he has junior eligibility, and that's just the way it is. So it's a tough one because he did very well there, and it is as we know, it's a great place to develop, and when you have talent like that, you want to get them in as much of a challenging situation as you can, and we know the American League is very challenging.
When you get into back-to-back like this, what is the key to it for your guys who played last night?
Well, sometimes sometimes the back-to-backs are interesting, because sometimes they work out really well and you're in a rhythm and a groove. I thought Minnesota was last night, and we had to battle through that because they were coming off a back-to-back. But obvious ones are energy level. How much wear and tear and obviously bumps and bruises do guys have. But Matias back in tonight is a real bonus. I know the team will be excited about that. But yeah, it's the excitement of the game is every night you walk out to that bench and You flip on the TV and you flip it on because there's a lot of unknown. You can speculate all you want, but until those two teams get on the ice, you've got to be ready to make your adjustments ensuing, and we'll do that tonight.
Is there any benefit because these guys are coming back from the West Coast and got back pretty recently from that?
You know, it's funny. You guys ask if is there any benefit to this, any benefit to that. I'll tell you after the game because you know it's just you can't you never feel too good until you win, and I can tell you I don't feel too good right now. So.
Don, with Dylan in the mask he's trying to wear, it seemed like he was maybe having a little bit of trouble getting used to it last night. Is that something you're confident in, that he will get used to it and he'll be fine?
He will get used to it. I do agree with your observation that it caused some uncomfort. It is. I've worn them, and anybody that has worn that, he's never worn one in his hockey career. You know, in the U.S., college hockey players have to wear that all the time, that full facial, and you get used to it. But you lose a little bit of your peripheral feel. You know, when you have some blinders on, and you don't feel players around you like you do when you have it off. So it does take some time to get used to. He had 1 or 2 practices was all with it, and that's not much. So I would expect he'll be better every moment, every shift, getting acclimated to having that on.